A fascinating Game of Thrones theory has massive implications for centuries of House Stark's history, and I must say, I'm sold on it. House Stark's family tree dates back thousands of years, when they reigned as kings of winter before Aegon the Conqueror united the Seven Kingdoms under the Targaryen banner. Torren Stark was the last king in the north, until Robb Stark, who bent the knee to Aegon to save the lives of his men, realizing that resisting the Dragon Lord and his sisters was futile. I think House of the Dragon could be suggesting added context to the event. The Game of Thrones television franchise is based on the A Song of Ice and Fire book series by George R. R. Martin. Unfortunately, readers like myself have been waiting over a decade for the upcoming volume. The Winds of Winter, with Fire and Blood being the only supplementary book to keep us busy in the meantime. While there's a lack of fresh literature to sink our teeth into, theories can still be crafted based on the material in House of the Dragon, particularly those made by Martin himself. I believe one choice he's made for the series has massive implications. The Aegon's dream prophecy has massive implications throughout the realm, particularly in House Targaryen's history. While the TV canon and book canon are separate, the fact that this was Martin's idea could imply that it's also true to the books, which would change everything we know about every Targaryen ruler. There's a possibility that the prophecy was lost in the shuffle of the Dance of the Dragons, but at the very least, we can consider its implication on the events before. If Aegon sought to conquer Westeros to protect it from the Long Night, Torren Stark might have known too. Torren has no reason to trust Aegon at this time, but Northerners know better than others in the realm what horrors linger north of the Wall. The theory here implies that Aegon deeply considered the role of the North in the coming war, knowing that the Starks would be the most invaluable ally in the war against darkness. The events leading to Torren Stark bending the knee to Aegon involved letters sent back and forth, in which Aegon could have shared his dream. Torren Stark has no reason to trust Aegon at this time, but Northerners know better than others in the realm what horrors linger north of the Wall, and he could have been inclined to listen to a foreigner who spoke of such things. House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere reveals that the tradition of Starks sending their kin to the Wall to swear oaths in the Night's Watch began with Torren Stark. This further solidifies the theory to me, as he has no other distinct motive to begin such a tradition. Torren may have known that the Night's Watch would need well-trained, well-educated men to lead and thought no one better than his own line to fulfill the responsibility. Our perspective on House Targaryen's history changes because of the dream, but there's a lot to consider with House Starks also. I absolutely love the Starks, and their involvement makes almost any aspect of George R. R. Martin's universe better. With Aegon's dream, in particular, the connection to the Starks ties back to the name of the series. Aegon's dream is what A Song of Ice and Fire is about, and it only makes sense if the Starks and Targaryens have played an equal role in the prophecy since the beginning. In the same sense that it's always fun to theorize about Rhaegar and Lyanna or Jon and Daenerys. I love the idea of the House Stark's lineage knowing the dream. There's no indication that Ned Stark knows about the dream in Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire. While the man certainly died with his secrets, there's not a word that would imply that he's uniting the realm against the White Walkers, as he doesn't even seem to believe in them. Ned knows that winter is coming, but I believe his dread and caution to be more generalized. Still, Ned wasn't intended to be Winterfell's heir, and his dad and brother were both killed. If it had lasted that long, Rickard and Brandon could have died with the secret. House of the Dragon's Cregan Stark, on the other hand, seems to have an extra chip on his shoulder with what lies beyond the Wall. He doesn't explicitly mention that he knows, but he is keenly aware that a threat exists to the north and isn't willing to sacrifice a significant portion of his army to Rhaenyra's cause in the Dance of the Dragons. I'm sold by Cregan Stark saying death lies beyond the Wall, And now I'm wondering what implications it will have on the future of the Game of Thrones franchise and the Aegon's Conquest series.